So what are you doing today, Jesse?
Today, we're going to replace the power steering feed line on this 190D 2.5 because it's leaking.
And how long of a job is this? How many hours?
Probably around half an hour. It's not that difficult of a job. It's not very hard. There's plenty of room.
What's the first thing you have to do?
So the first thing I would do is make sure the car is not super hot, because it's really cumbersome to work on a hot engine. And the engine didn't really get that hot today, so it's doing pretty good. Second thing I would do is find the tools you need. So in this case, I need 17s and 19s to get these fittings off here and down at the power steering box. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the power steering feed line off of the pump, let the pump drain out. Just like this.
Okay.
So, took the old one out. It was a small 17mm fitting that sits on the power steering box. And once you take that out, you can take the whole line out. Here is the new one. And you're just going to fish it back in the same way you got it out. First, I'm going to put the fitting on the box. I find that one to be trickier. Just going to slide your hand down around the air box. You face all the time when buying parts. So sometimes things aren't exactly the same way they fit. So I'm going to compare the two lines to each other. And would you look at that? It's too short. See?
What is that thing?
It's too short. Yours is leaking.
Oh yeah, look at that gap.
So, time to tell the boss it doesn't fit. The power steering pumps. This pump was used on the 201s and 124s mostly, and we call it as the tall pump. It usually has the serpentine belt on it. Now there's another pump used on our beloved diesels called the wide pump. It has a distinctly different shape. Now the long pump and the tall pump and the wide pump have different fittings for the output flange of the pump. So this uses a smaller fitting, while the wide pump uses a bigger fitting. So if you try to use a line from a wide pump, it physically just won't fit. It's too big. Pull apart the metal-y section.
Mercedes Florida.
Where's Mercedes Florida?
Florida. So exactly what I imagined, Jesse. You can also take off
SEL. Sometimes the modification is necessary. Those right here, you can't get them anymore. So Google's versions are really the best you can start. And because the replacement hose wasn't exactly the right length, we had to expand this metal section to get the necessary lack of length we needed to make this fit. So just like before, we're going to try to stick it in. Now I've hooked up the line to the box down at the bottom. You know, it's on there now. So now I'm going to hook up the other line onto the pump, thread it carefully into the aluminum pump case, because you really don't want to strip this out. Start it nice and slow. Remember,
Good job of pivoting there, Pierre.
Well, very important to not mess up these threads in the pump. Flashback to 400E.
Right. You may have to move that just a little bit so it doesn't hit that spring or whatever. Yeah. You may have to like rotate.
I'm gonna rotate the whole line this way.
Yeah, that's
like
good.
that.
That'll work.
Come on, focus.
Yeah, you're gonna have power steering again.
Hell yeah! No more strong arms for you.
Breathing. The power steering.
So because I took the line off and the pump ran out of fluid, we now have to turn the wheel a whole bunch to bleed the pump and fill all the lines with fluid before we start the car. And we just have to keep doing this until all the air comes out.
And how will you know when the air is out?
We're going to take the pump and look at the reservoir and just watch for bubbles. When most of the bubbles, or pretty much all the bubbles, stop, that's how we know it is bled. And we're going to feel, make sure we have power steering, and then we are good to go.